Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Syed Haji Hafiz bin Syed Haji, metric number 2321753. In this video, I will present about the causes of the Great Abbasid Civil War. The Great Abbasid Civil War, a 10-year conflict that shook one of the world's mightiest caliphates to its core. But what caused this bloody war? Was it just sibling rivalry, or maybe something deeper rooted in politics, religion, or perhaps personal gain? Let's watch this video till the end. The story begins with the legendary Caliph Harun al-Rashid, known for his wisdom and vision. Harun created a detailed succession plan for his caliphate. His eldest son Muhammad, known as Al-Amin, was to rule from Baghdad as the caliph. Meanwhile, his second son, Abdullah, also known as Al-Ma'mun, was appointed governor of Khorasan, an autonomous region in the caliphate's east. This wasn't just a verbal agreement, it was formalized with a treaty signed in the holy city of Mecca and hung inside the Kaaba itself to show its sanctity and holiness. On paper, this plan seemed perfect. However, beneath the surface, it was a ticking time bomb. One of the weaknesses was geography. Baghdad and Khorasan were almost 2,000 kilometers apart. This physical distance made communication difficult and allowed each brother the space to build different power bases. Baghdad represented the heart of Abbasid administration, while Khorasan's wealth and military strength gave it a sense of independence. This separation, though designed to create balance, ironically killed distrust. Khorasan's prosperity from controlling trade routes made Al-Ma'mun's position stronger than his title suggested. Then came the politics. Harun's court was full of competing factions. Some leaned toward Al-Amin, the caliph in Baghdad, while others supported Al-Ma'mun, who controlled loyalty in Khorasan. Influential advisors such as Fadl ibn Rabi, Al-Amin's chief confidant, urged the caliph to prioritize his own lineage over his brother's claims. In contrast, Al-Ma'mun's chief advisor, Fadl ibn Sahal, leveraged the region's discontent with Baghdad to rally Khorasanis against Al-Amin. When Harun died in 809 CE, the harmonious atmosphere he had built began to crack almost instantly. Al-Amin ascended the throne as a caliph, but pressure from his Baghdad-based advisors pushed him to break ties with his own brother. Many in Khorasan were already tired of Baghdad's dominance. They supported Al-Ma'mun as their rightful ruler. To further solidifying his position, Al-Ma'mun enlisted the support of influential tribal leaders and military commanders among the Khorasani people. The turning point came with Al-Amin's decision to remove Al-Ma'mun from the line of succession. Instead, he proclaimed his own son Al-Qasim as his successor. He even brought back the treaty from the Kaaba and tore it apart in front of his court. This act not only betrayed his father's wishes but also insulted the religious holiness of the agreement, and many saw this as a breach of faith that would invite divine anger. However, Al-Ma'mun did not remain silent. His region, Khorasan, was rich, autonomous, and madly loyal. His chief advisor, Fadl ibn Sahal, worked to rally support against Al-Amin and to paint the caliph as a tyrant who had betrayed both God and his own family. Khorasani armies, well known for their discipline and combat skills, formed the backbone of Al-Ma'mun's growing army. Merchants and local leaders, eager to maintain their influence, also threw their weight behind the governor. As tensions grew, both sides began preparing for war. Al-Amin's court leveraged Baghdad's resources, including Harun's immense treasury, to fund his military campaigns. According to Al-Tabari, the state treasury had around 900 million dirhams when Harun al-Rashid died. Meanwhile, Al-Ma'mun's forces, though initially smaller, used superior strategy and morale to challenge Baghdad's dominance. Advisors on both sides viewed compromise as impossible, with Al-Amin relying on the Abna, an elite group of Khorasani origin soldiers stationed in Baghdad, to solidify his power. On the other side, Al-Ma'mun's commanders, such as Tahir ibn Hussein, focused on quick campaigns that were already in full swing to weaken Baghdad's defense. The caliphate was set for a bloody conflict, even though both sides justified their actions as a means to protect the Abbasid Caliphate. Ironically, they tore it apart in the process. In the end, the causes of the Great Abbasid Civil War went far beyond sibling rivalry. They originated from a post-succession plan, regional division, and the ambitions of those who stood to gain something from the war. Harun al-Rashid may have planned for peace, but his caliphate was destined for this great civil war. The war left the Abbasid Caliphate weakened and its unity fractured. It stands as a reminder of how power, even when carefully planned, can lead to ruin when trust and balance disappear.
So after the civil war concluded, they were left with a few short-term aftermaths, such as the devastation of Baghdad. So the siege of Baghdad in 1813 has caused the city to be distracted, and alarming stronghold survived from fighting, looting, and infrastructure damage. Temporarily weakened the Baghdad status as an administrative center of the caliphate. And the city was surrounded by the appointed general Tahir ibn Hussein, and many civilians were killed and they were suffering. This incident led to the decline of the Baghdad status as its reputation and functionality as the administrative center of the Abbasid Caliphate. Because of that, the city's economy were disrupted, which led to the short-term economic instability of the Abbasid Caliphate. The siege of Baghdad also affected the empire commercial hub, destabilized region critical to the trade network, including the road connecting to Baghdad, Persia, Khorasan, and Syria and beyond. Other short-term aftermath of the Abbasid Civil War was the emergence of the sectarian and the ideological tension. The Civil War coincided with a growing intellectual movement in the Abbasid court. There was the emergence of the Mu'tazilite school of thought, which emphasized reason, logic, and created nature of the Quran. This rationalist ideology clashed with the traditionalist Sunni scholars who upheld the uncreatedness of the Quran. So this conflict between rationalism and orthodoxy led to the next point, which is the Mihna. So the Mihna can also be seen as the indirect impact of the Abbasid Civil War. So while the Mihna itself was not a direct impact of the Civil War, the political, ideological, and religious development following the Civil War helped to set the stage for it. And Al-Ma'mun was actually embracing the Mu'tazilite school of thought, which offered rationalist framework that elevated the Caliph's role as both political and theological leader. So he sought to centralize control over religious doctrine and counter the power of the traditionalist scholar like the famous Ahmad ibn Hanbal, who might challenge the Caliphate authority. Hence, the Mihna happened. And also, Al-Ma'mun's victory of the fourth fitna was supported by Persian faction who had a strong intellectual tradition, were often aligned with the rationalists or school like Mu'tazilite. And the Persian influence actually shaped the Al-Ma'mun court and his ideological preference.
The Abbasid Caliphate, once the pinnacle of Islamic power and civilization, was shaken to its core by internal strife. The Abbasid Civil War spanning decades reshapes the course of Islamic history. Now I will explore the long-term effects, how they weakened a mighty empire, and set the stage for its eventual decline. Let's begin with the decline of central authority. When the civil war erupted, the Caliph in Baghdad struggled to maintain control. Regional governors, many of whom were once loyal, seized the opportunity to assert autonomy. In Khorasan, the Tahir rose. In North Africa, the Ayyubid established their rule. Each region began to slip from Abbasid grasp, fragmenting the once unified caliphate into a patchwork of semi-independent states. By the time the dust settled, the caliphs were reduced to figureheads, with their decrees carrying little weight beyond Baghdad walls. But it wasn't just political power that suffered. There was economic decline to the caliphate. Trade routes that once connected the Islamic world to the reaches of India, China, and Byzantium became battlegrounds. Cities like Basra and Samarra, once vibrant hubs of commerce, were left in ruin. Agriculture, the backbone of the Abbasid economy, collapsed as irrigation systems were neglected and farmland were abandoned. With a weakened treasury, the caliphate struggled to fund its military and administration, thus deepening its vulnerability to decline. The social and cultural disruption was equally devastating. The wars displaced entire population, creating a wave of refugees. Libraries, mosques, and schools were destroyed in the crossfire. Cities that once been the heart of Islamic intellectual life, like Baghdad, saw their cultural vibrancy fade. This disruption fractured the social fabric of the empire, leaving a lasting scar on the cultural development of the Islamic world. Another critical consequence was the rise of military powers. The Caliph, desperate to hold on to their thrones, increasingly relied on military leaders and mercenary forces. These commanders, often of Turkish or Persian origins, soon amassed more authority than the Caliph themselves. Figures like Turkish general under al-Muqtasim and the Persian Buyids became the true power behind the throne. This shift in power dynamics eroded the legitimacy of the caliphate, turning it into a puppet of military factions. Finally, the war exacerbated religious and sectarian tension. Faction exploited sectarian division, rally support deepening the rift between Sunni and Shia Muslims. At the same time, heterodox movements like Zanj Rebellion and Commonwealth Uprising challenged Abbasid authority. What had once been unified Ummah was now fractured, with distrust and conflicts lingering for generations. In conclusion, the Abbasid civil wars mark a turning point in Islamic history. The fragmentation of powers, economic collapse, and social upheaval paved the way for the rise of regional powers. While the caliphate would survive in name for centuries, its golden age was over. The legacy of civil wars was clear: a weakened Abbasid caliphate and a decentralized Islamic world. The story of the Abbasid wars reminds us of the fragility of empire, lasting impact of internal conflict. What lesson can we learn from history as we navigate the complexity of today's world?